happens just for so long. Every summer in your favorite bar, we're determined to keep going strong. Nothing in the world can stop our song.
So whether you have season tickets or small show with friends,
we have the info and the scoop on all the latest trends. Gather around, we won't be bored. We promise to have you coming back for more. In the meantime, we'll say what we need.
Welcome back to In the Meantime with John Saunders. I'm John Saunders, and this is In the Meantime. This week's guest is the one and only Aneesa Folds. Fresh off her Broadway debut in the smash hit Freestyle Love Supreme, I had the extreme pleasure of sitting down with one of the Mac-Haydn Theater's favorite leading ladies. We had a great conversation, and I can't wait to share it. As always, when you mention Aneesa's name when donating to the Bright Future Fund, half of that donation will go directly to Aneesa. Aneesa's donation destination this week is Broadway for Racial Justice. Their very important mission is to fight for racial justice and equity by providing immediate resources, assistance, and amplification for BIPOC in the Broadway and theatrical community at large. In doing so, this enables them to create safe spaces throughout the theater world so artistry and creativity can thrive. Okay. Please hit subscribe on that YouTube channel, and away we go with In the Meantime with Aneesa Folds. Aneesa Folds, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Aneesa, let's start at the very beginning. Where are you from originally?
I'm from Queens, New York, born and raised.
You are? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any brothers and sisters?
I do have two sisters. I'm the middle child. My older sister's like a year and a half away from me, and my little sister's 7 years younger.
Yeah.
And the stereotypes are wrong because I'm the favorite and the most treasured.
And I totally believe that. That's how you are at the Mac-Haydn too. When did you discover you could sing and had that voice?
So my dad used to be a lounge singer.
Oh, cool.
I don't really have a recollection of those days, but I do remember seeing flyers around my house saying like Perez Folds and it's him with the microphone. And so he used to practice at home and he would sing with the microphone, and sometimes I'd be like, I want to sing. So I have memories of us singing Greatest Love of All in the living room. And I just liked singing. My mom used to record a lot of home videos of me and my sister after Sunday school at church, and us singing by the window, This Is a Day and stuff. And I was in sports camp for a long time. My mom would put me in sports camp during the summer. I didn't want to do that.
What sport?
It was literally just like a day camp where we would play a bunch of sports throughout the day.
Okay.
Like it was different periods of different activities.
Okay.
Not my thing.
All right. Let me sing.
And I was like, Mom, can't do this. Please put me somewhere else. And she was like, okay, what do you want to do? And I was like, I like to sing. And so she found this program called Wingspan Arts. And she put me in there. Before that, though, when I was in elementary school, we had music class. I was a very, 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 very shy kid. Okay. And one day the teacher was like, all right, guys, we're singing We Are the World, and we're going to split it up with solos. We had never done that before. And she just went around the room and gave everyone a line. And mine was, there's a choice we're making, we're saving our own lives. And she gave it to me, and I sang it, and everybody was like talking about that. And she was like, wait, do that again. And I was like, huh? And then I did it again, and then she was like, this girl is great. And she came to our class after, and she was like, all of you that were talking and laughing while greatness was and I hated attention, so I was like, please, honestly, stop.
Don't look at me.
Yeah. And then she put me in the musical, and I didn't want to be in. She had to force me to be in that, and then she made me sing for our assistant principal passed away. She made me sing for the funeral. This original song she wrote. Didn't want to do that. I had to be forced to do things, and if I didn't have people pushing me, then things wouldn't have happened.
You weren't doing it. That's so funny.
Yeah. I'm scared.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? So what was that first show? What was the role? Do you remember?
Pacific Bloody Mary.
No way. How old were you?
How old are you in 6th grade? I don't know.
Like 12?
Yeah.
Love that.
And this other girl wanted the role, and I was to the teacher. I was like, "She wants it. You should give it to her."
They were
That
like,
was
nope.
me. My mom came to parent-teacher conferences, and the music teacher sat her down and said, "Your child doesn't want to be in the musical, and you have to make her." Mom was like, "Absolutely, she will be."
Oh my God, how funny is that? And look at you now.
Yeah,
So did you go to a performing arts high school in the city?
I did. I went to Repertory Company High School for Theater Arts, but I wasn't in a lot of. I didn't participate a lot in the programs there because I was in a professional children's chorus called the Young People's Chorus of New York City.
Oh.
My mom put me in that too. She was just, and that was another thing I didn't want to do. I was too scared. I was like, I don't know how to read music. These kids are professional. And she was like, "You're doing it." And I was terrified. So she made me do that. And it was just a program with kids all over the city, not specific high schools.
Okay.
So kids from all walks of life, from Brooklyn to the Upper East Side with doormen. So like everybody together singing this classical music I had never sung before. And like because of them, I traveled to Japan and Switzerland and China and Prague and all these places. And
Wow.
still am connected with them to this day, and I just performed at their gala right before the quarantine.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah,
How cool that you traveled the world like that with that.
yeah, in high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
It's like growing up in New York City, having access to that kind of stuff is just amazing. And is Wingspan still in operation?
Yes, they are.
They are.
I'm gonna
Okay, cool.
do a masterclass with them soon. I performed at a bunch of their galas, so it's really awesome to be, to still be in contact with these people that have, helped my career, such as yourself.
Yeah, I mean they built your foundation,
Yeah, like you.
Okay, so then high school, then off to college, art
Or-
school.
I went to the art school. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we have a really strong relationship with Hart now that's been kind of growing and growing.
Yeah.
How did you find the program for your training?
I just was, again, I was scared to go into musical theater for college. I was like, this isn't going to work out, but I like doing it. And then I saw it in the Heights, and that was the show that kind of made me be like, okay, I know the people on stage. I grew up with these people in New York.
Isn't that cool?
These are my friends, either my friends from high school, and I know these people, and it was just the first time I saw my world reflected on stage, and people that I knew reflected on stage, and it just made me feel like I could do it.
Okay.
So it's really interesting that show was what kind of catapulted me into going to audition for schools, and I just started researching and found Hart and fell in love with it and got in and
Yeah, we've had such a good relationship with them, mainly because you guys come out of Hart so kind of just a bit ahead of, we feel, for the Mac. We've just had such success with you guys, especially your musicianship, and your audition technique. And the last couple of years, we've now been going to Hart and doing a casting in the spring. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we've done it for 2 years now, and it's been awesome. How did you first come to audition for the Mac? What was that? Did you come to an open call or?
I auditioned during Straw Hats the first time.
Right.
Yeah, and oh my God, what was that for? I feel like it was for a horror house.
Maybe, yeah.
And I remember the audition being terrified, and then you guys gave me music to figure out, and that didn't work out for me.
Well, straw hats are weird because we like put you on the spot.
Hated it.
Yeah, we're like, here, sing this right now in front of all of us.
The next time was an open call.
Okay.
And yeah, it was for, I remember I read for Muzzy, I think, for that.
For Millie.
Yeah. And then for the first audition, then you called me back and you were like, sing Motormouth stuff, sing Joanne stuff.
You played Joanne in Rent here. You did Mama Morton in Chicago.
Yes.
When you're gone to Mama, Mama's gone to
You played Motormouth Maybell,
Mabel.
which brought you and I together on stage.
Oh my God.
It was the best. It was the best.
What a time. And then Candy and Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah. And then the big one.
Dolores Van Cartier.
Yeah, so I have to bring it up because I remember reading it and I had no idea what an impact it had on you to do Dolores.
Mm-hmm.
What was the story there?
So you guys had announced your season. I never thought I would be Dolores ever.
Yeah,
That
I remember.
And I was on tour with Ragtime at the time. It was a travel day. It was a long bus ride. And I got a message from you on Facebook. And you're like, hey, want to come play this summer? And I was like, yeah, sure, always. And you were like, you want to do Dolores? And I was on the bus. It was quiet hours. And I just remember being like, screaming like, what? John believes in me?
Oh.
I never thought that. I don't know. I just you go through, you hear my pattern of life is just I've been scared of things and people push me. You were one of those people that pushed me because I just didn't think that was a possibility. Me taking the last bow on stage, never thought that was a thing.
baby, if you let it, love comes right on back to you. Passion and compulsion, real emotion. Watch it come bursting through. So give it to me.
I remember picking the show and being like, it's going to be Aneesa. Yeah. And I remember you being like, no, you don't really want me to do this. And I remember getting your videos because you sent the video submissions.
Yeah, and it happened in Arizona where Josh was.
Yeah, which was crazy. But they were so funny, especially your readings. I remember watching your readings over and over and over again because they were hilarious. There haven't been a lot of shows that have been literally theater shaking like that show was, And that was a lot of that was a big weight to carry, that whole thing.
I didn't get used to that show until closing night.
Of course.
I was like, let's go, I'm ready.
Right. Well, I think you should still be playing Dolores anywhere and everywhere. As a young pro here at the theater, what did you find super valuable about your time at the Mac-Haydn?
The family aspect. And I mean, as you just heard from the very beginning, you pushed me and saw potential in me.
Yeah.
And that was just very clear throughout my time there. I made lifelong friends. Some of my best friends are out of the Mac-Haydn. And I just really grew as an actor there, as a human, as a professional. I learned so much in, a summer there than I felt like I learned in a school year. That was my first experience of what it was going to be like, of what theater was like, what it was supposed to be like. I had another regional gig before that, and that was my first regional gig, but I don't count that as my first regional gig. I count the Mac-Haydn as my first regional gig.
Okay.
That's how different the experience was. And it's home, it's where I learned to do this thing and where I learned that I could be something, and I had people to believe in me, and it was a strong, base.
Yeah. And now, a word from our president. Paul Colarusso, our board president, who is currently quarantining in New York City, is here to answer our burning questions once again. Paul, it's 10,000 degrees and so humid I could die. What are you doing to weather the dog days of summer?
Napping.
Sweet dreams. Thank you, Paulie. So, bye-bye Mac-Haydn, and then on to the Ragtime Tour, which I got to see.
Yeah, you did.
I did. It was just amazing, Aneesa. Oh my God.
Thank you.
So how was that tour for you? That was your first national tour, right?
First tour. Yeah, I mean, it was great. It was a wonderful experience. Again, a great learning experience. That was such a timeless show.
Yeah.
And just getting to do it in all these different places. I remember, we're commenting on the things that are happening right now. I remember the Charlottesville Riots were happening during that time.
Okay.
And I remember we were in some random town. I don't even know where.
Right.
But I remember it got to the part in the show where they Marsha Milgram Dodge, during the Act 1 finale, she had directed it so that once Sarah dies, spoiler alert, but it's
don't tell anyone.
Everyone drops the American flags.
Yeah.
On the floor, which is symbolic.
Very powerful. Yeah.
America has some work to do, and it just, yeah. And I remember seeing people walk out, and that after the show, the ushers were commenting they were saying that they didn't know that it was going to be like that, and that they didn't appreciate that we were disrespecting the flag and blah blah blah. And I just remember that being affecting me a lot, and just the state of the world and doing that show. It was so. That's an emotional show. It takes a toll out on you every time.
Oh my God.
And so it was really anxiety inducing to do that during that time, but it was necessary to spread that message and let people know that this is happening right now. Like, Black people are dying right now. This is, look at the world being reflected. Look at yourselves,
Yeah. It's 100 years later and it's exactly the same.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it was just super important. I enjoyed doing that show a lot and getting to do a show with so many other Black people, because that's a thing that happens a lot where it's not, where there's a token in the show and you're not surrounded by people that look like you all of the time. So that was really great to have that community, especially when you're dealing with those kind of issues.
Oh,
to have people to talk to about it, super important.
Yeah.
So, I really enjoyed my time there, and again, made some really great friends.
So then you came off the road and talk to everyone first and foremost about freestyling, because I don't know that a lot of people know what exactly it is, how it works. And and now just hearing the beginning of this interview, how does shy Aneesa go from shy Aneesa to give me one word?
Go on stage every night.
With no idea what's ahead, So, all right, give us the scoop on the freestyling.
Oh my goodness. Freestyling. What is it? I mean, I used to freestyle rap as a joke when I was in high school. So freestyle rap has always been at the bottom of my special skills on my resume.
Okay.
People in high school started calling me Young Niece because I gave that name to myself as a joke. I would just come in and be like, "It's Young Niece on the tracks. I was about to be crazy rich girl. That's me. Okay, baby." And I used to do that all the time. And so my friends would call me Young Niece. And I used to go see as I said, In the Heights was the thing that made me realize, okay, just go do it. There are people. We're out here. There are people like you out here, and these people, they're your friends. You're seeing yourself reflected on stage, your city. And it was just kind of a push to make me audition for schools. And because of my being a fan of that show, I would go see Freestyle Love Supreme, which is this thing that Lin-Manuel Miranda, Tommy Kail, Anthony Veneziali had, because they all went to Wesleyan. They had this connection, and they, in their workshops for In the Heights, as they were workshopping the show, they would all, in the drama bookshop, they would always, you know, take a 5 and go freestyle rap in the corner and just like make stuff up. And Tommy would always, he's the director of In the Heights and Hamilton and stuff. He would always say, all right, guys, come on, let's get back to work. Come on, let's get back to work. And they would just keep doing it. And so Anthony was just, had this idea, and he said, why don't we turn this into a show? And they were like, that's what? And then they figured it out. They did it at the drama bookshop during the blackout in June all those years ago.
Yep.
And they just started doing this thing. And because of Freestyle Love Supreme, that's why, you know, that's how they got In the Heights, and that's how they got Hamilton. And so I would go see these shows in high school, college, because I was obsessed. Okay. And I just saw them doing this thing, and I was like, I could do that. Like, I could do this.
Right.
And I would love to do this. And then I saw that they were having classes, and I was just on the train one night, and I was like, all right, I'll sign up. Nothing's gonna happen. And so I signed up, and they were like, attach a demo if you have anything. And I attached a demo of me, this last minute project for Shakespeare class in college. He was like, write an essay and do something creative. And it was like 2 a.m. the night before the project was due. And I was like, all right, I'll just make up a rap. And I just got on GarageBand and did this thing. It was dope.
To be or not to be young again, well, that's the question. But if I take my life, would I be chilling up in heaven? To die, lie to sleep, or maybe just to dream? Oh God, I need a reason just to breathe. But there's a catch after this, tell me what comes. Who knows what's in the sea? I'll tell you it's no one, cause in this life we're living blind. I wanna die to kill the pain. Got people in my ears questioning whether I'm sane or not. Dad, please make it stop, cause ever since you left, this whole thing has been a shock. I hear that it's a sin, but I can barely keep alive. All that's rolling in my head are thoughts of suicide. And I guess it's funny, cause death is all I fear. You can't laugh at my own joke, know when you're not even here. It's just me, Mama G, and that Nate who killed you. He tells me that I man up, but Dad, I really miss you, so I'ma do.
So I just attached that. Completely forgot that I applied for the Freestyle Love Supreme School, because I didn't. Again, I psyched myself out a lot, and I stopped doing that. But I got an email, and they were like, "We would love to have you," blah 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 blah, and I freaked out, and I was like, "Yes, this is amazing." But I'm leaving. I had gotten a show at Hour Rock it was a kid show for Seussical, like 2 weeks. I'm leaving to do this while you guys are having the classes. Can't pay for this right now. And I mean, this is amazing, but I can't. I have these obstacles. And they were just, the guy got back to me, Chris Sullivan. He was like, we want you, we'll figure it out. Pay when you can, what you can, and you'll miss 2 classes, whatever. We'll get the stuff to you. It'll be fine. So I ended up doing it, had the best time of my life. It's people from all over, like all different colors of the rainbow, all different ages. People, like there was a 65-year-old woman, white woman she didn't rap, she didn't know what she was doing, but we all had fun. It was just a safe space. And I just, because everybody was so open, I was open and think like I just grew in that class so much. And then Chris liked what I was doing, and then he said one weekend, he was like, hey, we're doing this performance and we need a singer last minute. Come perform with us as Freestyle Love Supreme. And I ended up doing that, and then I went away to North Shore to do Freaky Friday, and the first day of rehearsal, I got an email from Telsey saying, we need you to hold this date, and we need you to hold this date to be a cover for the Freestyle Love Supreme on Broadway. And I was like, even though all this stuff had happened, I didn't know that was a possibility. one of the guys in my class was the lighting designer the sound guy for Freestyle Supreme off Broadway. And he was like, they're looking for women and you're going to be in the show. And I was like, okay, whatever. Yeah. And then I auditioned. I mean, it was a whole thing. The day that they wanted me to audition, I had to be back at North Shore. I literally got on a train at 4 a.m. to go to Chelsea for 30 minutes to get back on a plane. I had to take a flight from New York to get back to Massachusetts on time.
Holy shit.
Got in a $60 taxi and was like, sir, you gotta, come on, we gotta go faster. Wig prep in the back of the car, putting on makeup, got to the theater, put on my clothes, walked on stage for my first entrance. They thought I was gonna miss it. And that was just the universe being like, you did, this happened for a reason. Like, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And it was, and it has been the greatest thing ever.
I mean, it was just like, you're an avalanche.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So you were a cover, but then kind of ended up being regular.
Yeah, I mean, that was also a thing. I was so ready to just be and soak up this experience with these people and sit backstage and go on every now and then. But it really, what they were trying to do is because, you know, it was me and two other women, and we were the first women in this group of this boys club that they had had for years.
Yeah.
And the first preview, they were like, you're going on the second preview, the third preview. I ended up going on most of the weeks, just constantly. I was on a lot. And so it went from standby to I'm in it, and these guys have been doing this show for 16 years. They haven't stopped, and I don't think they are. So it's just like something to come back to, and I think what they're kind of trying to do is like a Christmas Carol situation, but not like every year, just, you know, something that they could throw in. And it's just, you know, I'm used to a script. So it's a very interesting situation to jump into that, especially with these men that have been doing this together for so long. They know each other.
I'm terrified of improv. I always have been. It freaks me out. I'm like, nope, I need the script. I've never really, I mean, I've done like some comedy sports and stuff like that, but it scares me to death. There has to be a difference too in, like, you know, we get the adrenaline rush after we perform, you know. Is there a different rush that comes from Freestyle Love that's like...
You mean fear?
Yeah, well, before and after.
Oh, yeah, you get the adrenaline rush. It's just so wild to walk into the literal unknown. Yeah. You don't know.
Yeah.
But it's so fun because it could go any which way. And once you get into a run of it, it was interesting to just see how that was, because they take breaks and then come back to each other. But the audience, they're the show. We get our information from them. So it's always entertaining. It's true. We're feeling things in real time. Like the laughter is real. We break on stage all the time. It's stupid. And it's just to work with these people that I've looked up to for so long, and to be around them and realize that they're just kids being idiots, having fun. That was just the best.
Yeah, and I'm sure everybody's wondering, like, what was that for you to not only to just be in the room with Lin-Manuel Miranda, but then to be working opposite him? Yeah. I mean, what was that like for you?
Scared. Because I've looked up to him for so long, it was weird. But he's so nice, and really is just the chillest human and very normal.
Okay.
So that was very humbling to see. Yeah. That he's just a kid. He wants to be your friend. And I'm like, like, what? How do I?
I'll be your friend.
Yeah, but no, he's great. It's fun to watch him do his thing, and like mess up just like the rest of us, and tell me he's terrified before he goes. He's like, I don't feel this fear anywhere else as much as I feel it before I go out to do a freestyle show, because it's the unknown. Yeah. Into the unknown.
You know, I mean, I literally, I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to. I just know me. I'd be freaking out.
I don't know.
I would be like willing to try it.
I feel like you might be good at it.
You think?
I do.
Maybe I need to try it.
I really do feel like you might be good at it. I just
How does someone like me get to try it though? Like, do they have these classes still?
we do have these classes, and I'm sure we're expanding. So I think that things will be, we'll try to do like a day workshop or certain things like that. But we're doing stuff online, so that's been fun.
Oh,
To
cool.
keep busy during the quarantine.
I know. And let's get into in the meantime. So,
Yeah.
what wasn't it going to be aired? It was going to air like beginning of June, I thought, or July.
Yes, it's gonna be. We have a new date. We
Okay.
postponed it because of the current events. We didn't feel comfortable, as a show that comes. Hip hop is a Black art form, and
Yep.
until things are right with the country, we just didn't feel right. We needed the focus to be on that.
Yeah.
And so we have a new date. It's July 17th.
Oh, great.
It's going to be on Hulu. And it's just kind of the story of these guys starting 16 years ago.
It's truly about like embracing and celebrating the human experience.
It's finding the joy in the things we know how to do and turning them into a show.
And here we are, 15 years later. We're all together doing this thing again. Because this is like kind of like the nucleus of all of that creative energy.
You're seeing us on the other side of a lot of ups and downs. The only thing that's changed is we just have that much more life to draw from.
If more people have this kind of experience, truly the world will be a happier place.
Ladies and gentlemen, the word is vibrator. That vibe would be higher than anything. It would be hotter than the equator if that vibrator really existed. That vibe would be to the top and got my whole mind twisted so we can stay. I love you every single day. The band is back together and we're here and we can play. We are freestyle.
And are you heavily featured?
I'm in there for like 2 seconds, but
Whatever. It'll be my favorite 2 seconds. You're in it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So what else have you been doing? You told me you were teaching. So what have you been doing since the shutdown?
Ooh, yeah, it's crazy. Before the shutdown, I was working on so many things, and I remember the week before, I was like, I'm gonna have a panic attack one of these days. And then the city shut down, and I was like, that's not what I meant. Like, I didn't ask you.
That's hilarious.
No, the city, I just was overwhelmed, but I didn't mean
it.
Everything down. I think in the very beginning, I was stressed, and I was, I felt like I had to be doing something. I had to be creative. And as artists, I know we do that because our lives are our art, but I had to just, like, girl, you were about to have a panic attack. Relax, like, this is, slow down. I started teaching with the Freestyle Love Scream Academy virtually, which I was very skeptical about, but it ended up being the joy of my week,
Okay.
Working with the kids and just watching them be creative and having fun in their houses doing this thing with us was super rewarding. And working with the Young People's Chorus of New York City, the choir I used to be in, they asked me to write a song. I don't write songs, but they asked me to write something, and that they're going to be singing that and premiering it soon. And because of that, somebody else just asked me to write I don't write music. Again, this is me.
You're being forced. Now you're being forced. Now you're a composer and you've been forced into it. But in a way, Aneesa, don't you think you kind of are a writer because your mind is throwing these words out so fast,
Yeah, we'll see. I'm just grateful, just to still be creative. And because this is crazy. And this quarantine is forcing us to sit down and deal with our inside.
Yeah. I can't talk today with you without kind of acknowledging the turmoil that we're in right now. The country, of course, but also our industry. How are you doing through all of this?
Yeah, that was, when everything kind of hit the fan 2 weeks ago, It was very triggering.
Sure.
Especially just being stuck inside and seeing that it's, everybody's talking about it now because we're forced to, because we're inside and it's in your faces, and we have to address it. It opened a lot of wounds for me, and things that have happened in my past that I have let go, and just people speaking up for themselves was very inspiring, and kind of inspired me to speak up in all different parts of my life. And so just dealing with that was a lot. And then I was dealing with a lot of anxiety and seeing the posts of people, just protesting and stuff, and just the death everywhere. It sucks. And we have to wake up and we have to make a change. But I'm glad that people are talking about it. I'm glad that people are having these uncomfortable conversations. I'm glad that people are doing their research, and I'm glad that people are being held accountable, not canceled, but being held accountable. And I think that there's that people should learn and listen and hear people out and hear what everybody's saying. But yeah, a lot of wounds were opened up for me the past 2 weeks, and it's been hard to deal with. And I've had a lot of uncomfortable conversations with friends and, organizations I used to be a part of, because things are blowing up everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think it's necessary, even though it's hard. And I know that this fight is not over, even though feeds are starting to go back to normal, and people are starting to think about other things. But this is a fight that people that look like me are facing every day. So it doesn't end for us. It's not just a hashtag. It's life.
Yeah.
And so it's good that everyone else is starting to listen and hear and just be more aware of what's going on. But we have to keep going.
Yeah.
To make changes everywhere.
A tough question for you is, like, what do you think someone like me moving forward for this organization, like, what can I do to kind of improve on the experience for Black artists?
Yeah.
And both on stage, off stage, in the office,
Right. Just, more Black creatives, people from different races behind the scenes and on the stage.
Yeah.
I think that it's important to see yourself on stage. I know that for, when I do a show and I see that little Black girl sitting in the audience, that's who I'm doing the show for today.
Yeah.
Like that's where my attention is. And that's something that happens all the time when I do shows. Representation matters. And we have to create these spaces where people are seen, where Black people are seen, where people of color are seen, and just, allow space for them in shows that you typically wouldn't. And why is that? Especially if it's not like a period piece or something. The default is white across the board. When you're reading a book, what color is the character before you see, like, the specificities. I'm sorry, I cannot speak right now.
It's okay.
But yeah, the default is white. And I just think that when we put more people of color and in the background and behind the scenes, that's how we get voices out there. That's how we see what we want to see on stage and see the world that we see outside.
Put yourself 10 years from now. What do you want to see?
Yeah. Black casting directors. Somebody just shared this post with, all of the big agencies, and it's just whitewashed. I just want to see more opportunities. I want to see people that know how to deal with Black hair in theaters, because that's something that is not okay, you know, in the film industry and stuff, and, you know, dealing with Black actors, you have to know how to do their makeup and know how to do their hair, not just the default, which is white, which is what they've been taught. I'd like to see more shows written by people of color on Broadway in regional theaters. You know, I just think that there's so many things that need to be changed. I'd like to see my colored tights available for me.
Right.
Something as simple as that.
Yeah.
You know?
You've really gone like from really small regional theaters all the way to like the Broadway room, you know? Is there just such a huge difference when you get to when you arrive in the big room?
No.
Okay.
Yes and no. I mean, it is a bigger, grander scale, but I think that people should realize that Broadway is it's another theater. Like we hype ourselves up to this one thing, and I know for myself, I was like, I'm nothing if I'm not on Broadway.
I know.
Not true.
What are you eating?
Chicken parmesan.
Ooh, good one. What have you been wearing? Tell me about your quarantine couture.
Dresses that I don't wear outside, like just living. Really.
Who are you quarantining with?
Right now I'm by myself, but I was with my family, and now I'm subletting in Brooklyn. Bye.
I love that. All right. What is it that you miss the most right now in quarantine?
Honestly, having margaritas outside. Somebody saying your table is ready.
Oh, good one.
Pink. And hugging my friends.
Yeah, I miss the hugging factor too. What advice can you give right now to your fans at the Mac and to everyone else? What can you tell us?
Be nice to everyone. What's for you is for you is for you. Don't compare yourself to anyone, because it doesn't matter. Even though it's easier said than done, your journey is your journey, and it's gonna happen in its own way.
Music is a world within itself, with a language we all understand, with an equal opportunity for all to sing, dance, and clap their hands. But just because a record has a groove, don't make it in the groove. But you can tell right away at letter A when the people start to move. They can feel it all over. They can feel it all over, people. They can feel it all.
And there you have it. My interview with Aneesa Folds. Aneesa, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and chat with me, and I promise I will always leave a light on for you here at the Mac-Haydn. Don't forget to mention Aneesa's name when donating to the Bright Future Fund, and please, if you can, hit that button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay hopeful.
And always will be one of things in life won't quit. But here are some of music's pioneers that time will not allow us to forget now. Whether it's Macy Miller, Satchmo, and the king of all Sir Duke, and with a voice like Ella Spring,